welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene. Today I want to talk about probiotics and prebiotics and fermented foods and gut health and all these buzzwords that we hear about, and perhaps many of us may not necessarily know what they mean or how we can use them to improve our overall health. So first, let me talk about gut health and the gut microbiome. Now, when we talk about gut health, we hear about the gut being the second brain. We hear that leaky gut can lead to many diseases. We hear about good bacteria and bad bacteria, and also we hear about the gut dysbiosis. Now, gut dysbiosis is when there is more bad bacteria than good bacteria in the gut. Now, essentially, the gut microbiome is the environment where it's almost like a what's the term? It's an ecosystem basically of various species of bacteria that all have a great impact on our health. Now, where various things can upset this balance in our body. So it can be medications, it can be food, it can be lifestyle choices like alcohol or smoking. It could be medications. A lot of things can actually upset this gut issue or this gut microbiome rather. And many people talk about, when you take antibiotics, make sure you take probiotics. First, they might say, take probiotics after your course of antibiotics. Others say, take it with, and it all gets very confusing. And so the problem, I think, with many people is that hearing advice from different people means that we can often make mistakes in what's the best thing for us. So let me talk about what probiotics are and the necessity for our health. So the gut microbiome, as I started to talk about before, is basically a combined genetic material of microorganisms situated in the gut. And researchers have identified 38 trillion organisms and 1,000 different species. So that is a phenomenal amount of bacteria that sits in our gut, and mostly in our gastrointestinal tract to instigate optimal health. Now, there are two effects we want our probiotics to have when we choose which ones to have. First, we want there to be an improvement and support in the gut microbiome, and second, we want there to be a management of a specific health condition. So many of us will look into our gut health or look at probiotics when we've had an issue with our health. So our choice in probiotic will be based on what condition we need to manage. Is it irritable bowel syndrome? Is it a skin complaint? Is it an immune disorder? Is it just following a post antibiotic course? What is it specifically we want these probiotics to do? Now, with regards to the strains that are around, that's probably when you need to seek assistance from a health practitioner, because there are different strains of bacteria that will help specific conditions. For instance, let's look at eczema. Eczema, also in pregnancy care and breastfeeding mothers, a strain that's called LGG is commonly used, and that's because they've found a reduction in eczema. They reduce acid reflux in pregnant women and actually colic in babies. So LGG is a really good strain for these situations. Now, there are different strains for different conditions, and that's where a health practitioner might be best idea to guide you, at least just to make the choice on which probiotic to have. Now, most probiotics needs to be refrigerated, and the reason is that a moist and hot environment will actually upset the life of the living bacteria. So what happens? It can actually instigate metabolic activity, and then eventually it will die. So you'll get less of the quantity on the per capsule that is listed on the jar, on the label. So that's why they need to be refrigerated. And there is a period of 48 hours that I know is perfectly fine for most brands to be out of the fridge, but for most part, they need to be in the fridge. Now, there are some companies that have got the probiotics out of the fridge that, you know, you can put them on the shelf and they're perfectly fine. What I would do is contact the manufacturer and ask them what manufacturing processes they've used that would protect the probiotics from heat and moisture. What is it that they're, and what period of time, because some of them need to be used in a period of time. So we need to understand that probiotics are living, and that is why they need to be in the fridge, because obviously exposure to heat, like anything, you know, you leave, food is a living thing, you know, you leave vegetables or fruit sitting on the bench for many months, you're going to notice that oxidizes and will die. So there is no difference with that with a probiotic. So I would really encourage you to find out why you can actually leave it out of the fridge. And if it gives you a life of, you know, 2 months or something, really stick to it, because there's no harm in taking it once it's over the use by date. You're just going to get very little, if any, good bacteria in that product. So one thing that a lot of people talk about when they're talking about probiotics is fermented foods. You know, if you ferment foods, you essentially are improving the good bacteria in your gut. And so there are many foods that are naturally fermented. Yogurt is naturally fermented food, or you can actually ferment vegetables like cabbage and all sorts of things, or you can buy products that are already fermented for you. So what this is that when you leave a product, a vegetable, whatever it is, a grain, in some sort of liquid, then it fermentates, which means it actually grows yeast and actually causes other microorganisms to grow and fester, I guess you could say. Not in the bad term, but in a very positive way. And when you do this, you're actually introducing these bacteria into your gut through this fermented food. The concern I have with some people having fermented foods is the exposure to yeast. So naturally there is yeast that is grown on this food. And so if you have an allergy to yeast, then you will find this might exacerbate your condition, whatever the allergy to yeast is causing. So be mindful of that. Try things out. If they don't resonate, don't stick with it because that's what, you know, everyone is saying you should have. At any time, if you find there is a food intolerance or an allergy to a specific food or drink, then you shouldn't have it, because your individual body, for whatever reason, can't process it, and it's not the best product choice for you. But certainly for people that are okay with fermented foods, give it a go and see if you improve your overall health. Now, typically, when you improve gut health, one quite immediate response that happens is an improvement to skin and stools. So if you've got loose stools, you will find that the stools get more solid. If you have an irregularity to stools, then you might find more regularity to it. The other thing is that when we don't eliminate properly, say we're constipated or our stools aren't being eliminated regularly, then a lot of toxins come out through our skin. So when we fix our GI tract, then as a result, skin health can follow, as long as you're doing all the other ideal things, which you know, having an anti-inflammatory diet and minimizing stress and all those sorts of things. When you're doing all that and then you follow and improve your gut health, you will find the skin improve quite dramatically and fairly quickly as well. So with probiotics, we often hear the term prebiotics. Now, prebiotics are food for probiotics. As I said, probiotics are a living organism, and so they need food to survive, and prebiotics are that. So you can buy prebiotics, but you also, a lot of food we can incorporate into our diet is prebiotic. So food that has fiber, also onions and garlic and leeks, What else is there? Raw asparagus, artichokes, and dandelion leaves. They're all prebiotics for the good bacteria in your gut. So make sure you have a healthy combination of both. And if anything is a concern, always seek assistance from your healthcare practitioner. And I think also it's important to mention that when you are feeling an adverse reaction to a probiotic, if you feel, gosh, I actually don't feel right on this, or for some reason it's instigating a concern in my body that I'm not used to having, then stop it and seek the assistance from a healthcare practitioner, because it might be the wrong strain for you. And if it is the wrong strain, then you're best to stop it and choose something that's more suitable. So that was our very quick chat on probiotics, prebiotics, and gut health. Be sure to check out our next episode on the part 1 of our acne series, everything you need to know to cleanse your skin from the inside out. And also feel free to leave your comments below in the comments box, and drop us a line if you want anything specific for us to share with you in our Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene podcast. Bye for now.